squash isn't the kind of sport you'd imagine inner-city kids playing, but that didn't deter people who founded METROsquash, a Chicago organization that combines picking up a racket with academic instruction and one-on-one mentoring. Let's meet Max Laverty, Program Director for METROsquash, along with 2 students involved in the program. Khadijah Muhammad is in the 9th grade at Chicago High School for the Arts, and Greg Johnson is a 9th grader at Chicago Military Academy. Thank you all for being here. First off, Max, will you just tell us about the broader movement towards getting kids involved with squash nationwide and urban squash programs?
We're part of an organization that has 10 programs around the country, and we all do generally the same thing. We all have squash, and we all do academic instruction and tutoring and mentoring, community service. So we combine all of those as one. And so there's 10 programs around the country: Boston, New York, Philadelphia, to name a few. And actually, it was started in Boston in 15 years ago by a guy named Greg Zaff, who it was actually his thesis saying he wanted to get squash, because as you know, squash is a sport that you find in the Ivy Leagues, in the in the prep schools. It's very much a white-collar sport, and played mostly actually in Boston, New York, and Philadelphia. And not a lot of inner-city kids play it because a lot of the clubs are private clubs, and it's very hard to get access to courts.
Tell us a little bit about what makes METROsquash different from these other programs around the nation.
It's a very holistic approach, more so than some of the other programs. We also combine. Some programs really focus on kids who are C and D students and really need the bump up in the grade. There are some programs that really focus on kids who are high flyers and grade A students. We really focus on kids who are really committed to the program and really have a great attitude and effort while they're with us. And in that way, we also have a commandment for excellence. So we really want kids to be committed to the program and really commit to themselves and making themselves better students, better athletes, and better people all around.
Khadijah, Greg, what has METROsquash done for your lives, and how have you evolved as part of this program?
It has made me a very good man in life. I lost a lot of weight during the program. He worked me real good on my backhand and running, doing miles and stuff, even though I wanted to stop. He made me do it. And
so it's pushed you to strive for more, get fit.
Yeah, and also my grades slipped, and then him and Ed, the other person that does METROsquash, helped me with my grades too. They went up. My mom is proud of that.
Khadijah, how about you? You also are training to be a pianist as well, so you're juggling a lot of balls here, right?
Well, METROsquash, it helped me with my time management, because before, like when I was in grade school, with my friends, they had introduced me to METROsquash, and I had tried out, and it was really nice because I got to like work out and improve my grades. I was on the honor roll, and then like when I sent my application in for high school, I was excited and had to audition and everything. And the staff on METROsquash, they helped me with my applications. And like once I got in, like it was a struggle for me because since I get out like at 5 o'clock, I had to balance my grades, when to practice, and then go on to squash too. So like when I would get out of METROsquash, when I would get out of my school, I would go right to squash. So, and then I would go home. So it was like a really a stressful day. But then through the days and the months and everything, it just helped me like to just control my time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how have you seen both Greg and Khadijah change over the years that you've been working with them, Max?
Well, Greg started with us in 7th grade, and Khadijah started with us in 6th grade. Actually, I've been with the program for 4 years, so I've seen Khadijah grow from a 6th grader onto a 9th grader, and Greg from a 7th grader on as well. But with Greg especially, he always wants to be there. He's always super excited to be on the court and really improve and get better at everything. And also, I remember him as a 7th grader, he could barely shake your hand. And now he has no problem going up to you and say, "Hey, I'm Greg." And it's very much, he's really come out of his shell in the last few years with that. Mm-hmm. Khadijah as well, she's, just seeing her grow and seeing how well she's done in things, being a nationally ranked squash player and a very good one at that. But also, it's great what we've been able to see her do this year at her school. She comes to METROsquash, and actually her squash game has suffered a little bit of it because she's so busy with schoolwork and so busy with the piano. But at the same time, she's here every day, and she loves the sport, and we couldn't ask for anything more from these two.
Absolutely. So here's the question: why squash? Because not a lot of kids in America of any color get to play squash, especially inner city youth on the south side of Chicago. But not a lot of friends are playing squash. So what do you say to your friends when you say, hey, I play squash, and they look at you like, what's that? What do you tell them?
When they ask me what sport do I play, because obviously I have a big pink bag. People, oh, you play tennis? Like, no, I play squash. What, the vegetable? No, you can't play a vegetable. So I would just have to explain, like I'm so used to explaining what squash is, and I'm proud of it because it's so diverse. Like I'm actually I'm excited when people don't know what it is, because it's like something to tell. Because everybody knows what basketball, what football is, all that. But I just feel proud of myself when people just ask me that. And I used to, like, when I just started, like just having to say, well, squash, it started in England. I had to say the whole summary. But then once I just like say that it's an urban team, it's a sport that's around like the whole, like most of the United States right now. Like when I say that, like they kind of like get a background of it, so I'm proud of it. So
what's your favorite part of playing squash, Greg?
My favorite part is playing squash is when you see your opponent and you know that you might win, and then you see that he's not as good in his warm up, and then when I hit that serve, he doesn't hit it. It's just over.
So the competitive experience is a big part of this. What is the competitive experience meant to you, Khadijah? Feeling that kind of two people enter this one little room, and you're fighting it out. What is that like for you?
Well, like I get excited more than I get nervous, really. Like I always just try to like stay focused in my game, see their weaknesses, try not to make mistakes, because like once you get to a point in the game when you're tied, like you can easily go back and forth because you're not knowing if your opponent can get like a lucky shot, and you're like, what? It happens so quick. So I just like love the part of that, when it's like tied up and you just keep on going back and forth, because it tells you that you need to work on some of your, you just need to work on your game, period.
Max, what has the physical kind of experience of playing squash meant for Greg and Khadijah and the rest of the kids in the program? What are they learning from playing?
Squash is a great game in that sense. There's so many life lessons when it's just two people in a room. It's very primal, but at the same time, it's very gentlemanly. I've seen Greg a million times call down a shot that he hit out, or it bounced twice before he got to it. So he's had to be a very good sport towards his teammates, towards other people he's never even met before. Just how much they've grown in introducing themselves. And we've traveled all around the country with these kids. We've been to 20 some odd cities. We've even been to London. We've even been to London, England, and we've been to Toronto, Canada as well. So the kids are just getting so much exposure, not just because of squash, but because of the program and what we do. They've seen Yale, they've seen Harvard, but they've even they've seen all the schools in this city as well, and that's been really important. Is just giving them experiences that they wouldn't never have had initially, and that's really what I've taken out a lot of this program, was taking these kids to all these squash tournaments around the country and just seeing them grow and seeing them interact in places that they weren't necessarily comfortable their first time, but their second and third time they're complete pros, and they're just very adult, and just seeing grow from just kids who didn't even know what the sport was, had never even seen a squash racket.
Thank you, Max, Khadijah, and Greg, for being here today. I'm Bo River. For Different Drummers and the Greater Chicago Broadcast Ministries, keep the faith.